We're going to start down south, not that far south, in Philadelphia. Five Eagles made a big pickup on offense. Seven-time Pro Bowl wide receiver Julio was signed to their practice squad yesterday. NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport expects he'll be quickly on the 53-man roster when he gets up to speed. It's a crazy trio to consider. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Julio Jones. The Eagles might need his help after Sunday's loss to the Jets. It was their worst offensive performance of the season by far, only scoring 14 and turning the ball over 4 times, leading to their first loss of the season. So now, it doesn't get any easier. We've actually had a lot of conversations about how crazy the Eagles' schedule is. They've got the 5-1 Dolphins coming to town for Sunday Night Football. So do we view that loss to the Jets on Sunday as a bump in the road, or are we kind of waving a cause for concern flag in Philadelphia?
Can it be both? Can we look at that game? Can we look at that game and look at Jalen Hurts this year and say, all right, so far through the season, through 6 weeks, he's thrown 7 interceptions. Last year, throughout the entire season, 15 games, he threw 6 interceptions.
Wow, I didn't know that stat.
I don't either. I actually have to change my take now.
Say it again.
7 interceptions so far this year.
Yeah.
Last year, 15 games, 6 interceptions.
Wow.
So I don't know if I can say that's a bump in the road, but it's like at the same time, do I want to go all the way on the concern list because there's a new offensive coordinator? They've known each other for a long time, but him calling the plays, it's still a process. So if you're the Philadelphia Eagles and you look at this and you're like, all right, we have some growing pains, but throughout our growing pains, we're going to be sitting here at 5-1, still one of the best teams in the NFC. We have a tough schedule coming up. We just lost a game. All right, we should be fired up to get back on the right track and to get going. It's like at the same time, what exactly is the issue? Why do we have 7 interceptions here? Why did he just throw 3 in a game? 7 against? Was it just something that this Jets and a deep did of confusion, showing blitz, Jets dropping back out on the last Tony Adams interception? Was this just Robert Saleh drawing up some things that they just couldn't contend with him and Albrecht? Or is there something going on with this Eagles offense that they have to be able to put their finger on and fix as they progress through this season? Because that amount of turnovers, you're not going to be able to get to where they want to get. And we're looking at an Eagles team that's not content with making the playoffs or being amongst the top teams in the NFC. They're trying to be the one, get over the hump from what they did last season. So I look at Jalen Hurts and Johnson, the offensive coordinator, and they have to figure some things out. So I think it's a little bit of both, cause for concern, but also a bump in the road.
I think it's definitely a reason for concern.
Yeah.
However, if you're a Phillies fan this morning, you're not worried about the darn Eagles. Schwarber's got these home runs, 18 home runs in his playoff career. That's where we're at with Philly.
Schwarber? Never heard of
Kyle Schwarber.
Kyle Schwarber.
I saw this morning Marianne had a Kyle Schwarber jersey on. She was like, yeah, Phillies!
No,
For real, I love Marianne.
that's where I'm at, though. I think it does matter to the market. Like, if this had been an October where the Phillies were an 82-win season and they weren't in this thing and the Phillies weren't blowing out the Diamondbacks last night 10-0, this would be the story in Philly. Like, what's up with our Eagles? But it's almost like let us enjoy this at the moment. And so you're not hearing it as loud. The Phillies are on a tear right now. They just won 2 home games against Diamondbacks. So, like, baseball is Philly right now. There's reason for concern because look what's coming up for the Eagles. Take a look at their schedule. You mentioned the Dolphins, which I think is an incredible Sunday night matchup. Commanders gave them hell last time they played. Then you've got Cowboys at Chiefs, Bills, 49ers at Cowboys. Can the Phillies play till December? Can we get that going? Can we expand how long the season's going?
November 4th would be Game 7 of the World Series if they had to get it through there. If they had to distract with a shiny object long enough.
The World Series. Just distract because truth of the matter is this. They go into that Jets game. Jalen Carter was a scratch. Darius Slay was a scratch. They lost Lane Johnson. Injuries are occurring, so I don't think they're going to get, like, healthier. Now, we know Nakobe Dean might be back and might have a chance to get back, and we'll see what he's going to be when he's at his 100%. But this isn't going to be suddenly like the Eagles got healthy and they're great. If anything, it's as the season goes on, there's going to be more bumps and bruises. They were figuring themselves out. They were still winning games, but, like, it doesn't look like last year's Eagles. It doesn't, objectively, on offense. Yes, they're still the toughest team inside, and yes, Stoutland's offensive line pushed people around, but, like, you sense Steichen's absence now. Steichen and Hurts had a thing going last year, and it got better and better each week. I'm not saying they're going to not win the NFC East. I'm not saying they're not going to win the NFC. I think it's fair to say that this team objectively, record be damned, looks different at this point in the season as it did last year, and it hasn't kick-started and saying, like, aside from a couple of drives in the Tampa game where you're like, oh, the Eagles are rolling. it's just a different feel. And I think that's okay to say that the NFC's a little bit more wide open than we thought going into this thing.
You know what helps? Flyers out 2-1.
Are they winning?
Flyers out. They got Edmonton tonight, so we'll see. If they win, that might help distract the Eagles. You know what I'm saying?
And James Harden kind of takes up some headlines too, so that helps.
Yeah. The 5-1, right? Okay. Let's remind ourselves. So, you know, I was looking back over the past handful of Super Bowl winners. Just like they're September, they're October. It's not that great.
No, it's just
the Chiefs last year were 4-2, less than the Eagles. Okay. The Rams before that destroyed Week 4 by the Kyler Murray Cardinals. They won the Super Bowl. Tom Brady Bucks before that, 2 losses in the first month, including to the Nick Foles bizarre Bears. The Chiefs before that, the first one they started 5-3. They lost to Jacoby Brissett Colts. Early in the season, it's tough. It's tough for the juggernauts, all right? Here is exactly when I will be concerned about the Philadelphia Eagles. It is not with Jalen Hurts interceptions. Matthew Stafford led the NFL in interceptions. The Rams were so good they won the Super Bowl. It is when they have a cataclysmic injury or they lose control of the East. That's all I care about. Okay. If Jalen Hurts gets hurt, if A.J. Brown does, if Jason Kelsey, I don't even want to put that out there. I don't want to put that out there. Or they start losing control of the East. Just win the East, and we're going to be fine in a couple of months. You look at the East, come on. Anybody afraid, if you're Philly, are you afraid of Dallas right now? You're openly laughing at the Giants and the Commanders I think we can handle. So I know there's almost an eagerness to push the panic button on Philly. Like, they were constructed to perfectly. They drafted all the right players. They signed all the right players. It pissed a lot of people off. I think it pissed the football gods off. You can't build that good of a roster. Yes, they can, and they did. They lost to the Jets. And now, the Jalen Hurts thing was very strange. I didn't really recognize that player. But point to the player over the last decade who is a fantastic quarterback who doesn't have an egg or even an egg month. Rodgers has had some terrible games. Brady's had some eggs. Mahomes was outplayed by Zach Wilson this year. He's had a couple. It happens. If Jalen Hurts over the next couple of weeks, months is like, he still doesn't have, we'll talk. It's still early. The roster's so good. They're so experienced. They're relatively healthy. Like, they're going to get guys until they have the terrible injury where Rappaport or Pelissero comes on and is like, has tested positive for the, we're screwed. Yeah. I'm not worried about it. And I'm not worried about the East. I'm sorry. I'd love to join you. It's fun to say the Eagles are screwed. I don't think they are. I don't. I'm sorry.
I'm totally with you. The thing happened to me with the travel from London back that happened to me last year with Germany. If you remember, we were in Germany. The Eagles are riding high. We all come back on a Monday, and Monday Night Football, the Eagles lose to the Commanders last year. That's when it ruined their unbeaten season, and we were like, the Eagles, you beautiful, beautiful thing. We can't wait to watch. And I remember my sleep last year was so wonky. I woke up in the middle of the night, and I was like, I wonder how bad the Eagles. Oh my God, the Washington Commanders are the one that makes them go 8-1 to start the season. They ruined the perfect season. Sure, they went 8 weeks last year instead of 6, but same thing happened to me the last 2 nights. I'm all in a weird time zone. I'm looking, I wonder what the Jets did. Oh my God, they beat the Eagles. I wonder what the Bills did. They barely beat the Giants. What is happening? Sometimes weird stuff happens, but a mark of a really good player, to Kyle's point, is how quickly can you bounce back? How can you right this ship? Exactly. And they were without Hurts late in the season last year, and they still were able to figure things out.
We're at this point of the season, too, where we're like, all right, we played some football. Let's get to what matters. Like yesterday, we ran a playoff scenario, like and the hunt teams and all that.
Yes.
But it's way too early for that. We're obsessed with tracking the MVP and the Rookie of the Year. We're also obsessed with reading some sort of obituary on the Eagles.
Yeah.
If you had 3 quarterbacks in the NFC right now, is he on the Pro Bowl team?
In the NFC.
Yeah. No.
What, the Pro Bowl?
That's for the start of the 9 o'clock hour,
like,
Peter.
$250 million. It's Hurts and everyone else. Like, I don't think he's played up to that.
I like what you put up of the schedule.
It's hard.
It's about
crazy hard.
So to your point, maybe too early. Yeah. After this stretch, let's recap.
I don't even care if they lose in that stretch. Win the East.
Yeah, you can lose.
Did you see Schwarber, though? Like, the ball.
I know.
Smashes it.